Okay, so we're going to talk about how to run a Breadbox report. There are three simple steps to take. The first is you will run a carrier illustration. It's a very specific carrier illustration design, which we'll talk about in just a minute here. We'll also have you fill out a very simple spreadsheet with design parameters of what you're looking to model in terms of floors and caps and things like that. And then once you have those two documents, you will upload those through our Breadbox online portal. Very simple. So let's first start off talking about how to run the very specific carrier illustration design. The first thing to know is that you're going to want to run that carrier illustration using the 1-year annual point-to-point S&P 500 index option. So make sure you select that as the index option. Secondly, you do not want to use any multipliers or high cap options or additional bonus riders in this particular carrier illustration. The reason is that if you do want to teach your client how these type of features work, you can build them into the Breadbox report. So what we're looking for is more of a vanilla carrier illustration design. So we can take that vanilla raw data, we're going to import that into our Breadbox report software, and then all of those design features will be used to generate that output design in your Breadbox report. You also want to make sure that your contribution and distribution amounts are annual, in other words, not monthly. So the contributions are going to be the equivalent of your premium contributions, and the distributions are going to be the income drawdowns that you want to illustrate in the policy. And then you're also going to want to run that illustration using participating or alternate policy loans for all of the distribution years. So let's talk about how to run the distributions in the carrier illustration software. We're going to take a look at several different carrier illustration software screenshots, and I'll walk you through how to design these distributions. So we're going to start off looking at Pacific Life's carrier illustration software. And to be clear, this is just for agents and advisors as a tutorial tool on how to run carrier illustrations and how to find some of these parameters that we're looking for in the carrier designs. We are not modeling IULs. This is purely to run a hypothetical carrier illustration with certain distribution parameters. So you're going to go ahead and click on the distribution tab in the far left-hand column there. You will then select annual from the drop-down menu under distribution mode. And then you're going to click on this little calendar button right there, right next to policy distributions. A little window is going to pop up and you're going to make the following selections here. So on the drop-down menu in that little bubble that popped up, you're going to select solve. And then under the action drop-down menu, you're going to select alternate loan. And then in the boxes under from and through, you're going to select the year that you want to start the income drawdown and also the year that you want to end the income drawdown. Okay, let's take a look at a few other carrier illustration software programs here. Again, these are just screenshots. This one here is National Life Group. You would select the Death Benefit and Funding tab in the left-hand column there. And then you're going to select Annual under the Distribution Mode dropdown. You'll then select Solve for Income under the Type of Distribution, and under the Method area, you're going to select Loans from the drop-down menu. You'll also select Participating Variable Loans from the drop-down menu right next to Loan Type, and in the From-Through cell, you will select the years that you want to see those drawdowns occur in. So that's National Life Group's illustration software. Let's take a look at another screenshot here. This is from Penn Mutual's illustration software. Very similar. You'll click on Income and Targeting. Again, this is for the distributions. You will then click the drop-down menu next to the Distribution Mode cell and select Annual. You will then click on the drop-down menu next to Loan Option and select Indexed Loan. And then you will click on that little calendar icon button there next to Distribution Amounts, and this window will pop up. Under the Amount column, you'll click on the drop-down menu and select Solve. Under the Action column, you will select Loans from the drop-down menu. And then in the From and Through cells, again, you will select the year that you want to start the income drawdown, as well as the year that you want to end the income drawdown. And you will click OK. So that was Penn Mutual's. Moving on to another carrier. This is a screenshot from the Allianz illustration software. You know, again, each of these carriers are a little bit different, but you are starting to probably see some similarities here. In this one, you will click on the menu up top there and click on Plan. You will then select from the drop-down menu Annual under Frequency. And then you're going to click the drop-down menu under Type and select Income Stream. Under the Method column, you're going to select from the drop-down menu Loans. And then you're going to input 100% under the Indexed column. And that means that 100% of the policy loans will be index loans, or participating loans, or alternate loans. So different carriers have different names for these participating loans. And then, of course, you'll put in the year that you want to start the income drawdown as well as the year that you want to end the income drawdown. And then the last carrier illustration software screenshot that we'll show you here is Securian. Again, we can model any type of design parameter that is similar to any carrier. We're just using these particular 5 carriers just as hypothetical examples here. So again, you will click on distributions in the left-hand column there. You will then click on the drop-down menu under distribution option and select loan. You will then click on the drop-down menu under type and select solve max amount. And then you're going to input the year that you want to start the income as well as the year that you want to end the income drawdowns. And then lastly, you're going to click on that little button that says schedule. And when you do that, a little window will pop up and you're going to select indexed under the loan interest type. And then you'll click OK. So that gives you a little summary of the different types of carrier illustration software views that you're going to have and how to model the distributions in each one of them. Okay, this next parameter you're probably not used to. Maybe you are, but a lot of agents are not. And that is you're going to check the charges box on the reports/output design tab in the carrier illustration software. Now, the reason we want you to check that box is we want to be able to see all of the different standard policy charges. Again, these would not include things like multiplier charges or high cap option charges or additional bonus rider charges. We do not want to include any of those in this particular illustration design, but we do want to see the raw standard policy charges. So let's take a look at how to run the policy charges report in the carrier illustration software. And again, we'll go through several different examples from several different insurance carriers. We'll start again with Pacific Life. You would go ahead and click on Output Design, and then you're going to check the box right there where it says Summary of Policy Charges and Credits. Usually, by default, that box is not checked, so you want to make sure that that box is checked in this particular carrier illustration design parameter that we're requesting. If we take a look at National Life Group, again, you would click on Reports in the left-hand column there, and then the box you would check is right there, Policy Charges and Expenses. And again, that box by default is typically not checked, so you want to make sure you go ahead and check that box. This is a screenshot from Penn Mutual's carrier illustration software. You would click on Output Design, and again, you would click on the box right there next to Annual Cost Summary. With Allianz, you would click up there on top where it says Reports, and that will jump you to this page, and you're going to go ahead and check the box right there next to all additional riders and benefits. And last but not least, here's a screenshot from Securian's carrier illustration software. You would click on Reports, and then you would click on the box next to Charges. Okay, so now that we've talked about how to design the distributions in the carrier illustration that you will send us, and now we've also talked about how to check the charges box so that we can see all of the standard policy charges in the illustration you're going to send us. The last thing I wanted to mention here is that the annual distributions that you're going to run in these carrier illustrations must not exceed basis in any given year. In other words, the distributions we want to see are for income, not one large lump sum distribution that you might find in, say, a premium financing design. Okay, step number 2 is to fill out the input sheet that is in Excel format. This is a very simple sheet to fill out. When you fill this sheet out, you will essentially go to breadboxsolutions.com and you will log in with your username and password that you issued once you've signed up for a subscription. So you will go to the My Account page. You will download the input template and save it to your desktop, and you go ahead and fill out the desired design parameters. Again, things like the floor, the cap, the multiplier bonus schedules, etc., etc. But once you've completed these 2 documents, You will then upload them through our online portal at breadboxsolutions.com. And then we'll go ahead and run your Breadbox report and email it back to you. Very, very simple. And that's it. Those are the 3 simple steps. Our office will then receive your documents and your request. They will then design your Breadbox report and email it to you, typically within 24 to 48 hours. And now you know how to submit your Breadbox report request.